Welcome to the Business Owner Elevation Podcast, the show that's designed for coaches, consultants, and expert business owners that are looking to achieve higher levels of productivity and profitability, where we share battle-tested tactics and innovative ideas that guarantee to elevate your business rapidly. Brought to you from the award-winning Best UK Business Podcast in 2015. Without further ado, here's your hosts, Robert Dean Smith and Leon Street.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Business Owner Elevation Podcast with me, your hostess with the mostest, Mr. Robert Dean Smith, and my partner in prosperity, the one and only
Leon Street in the house. Business Owner Elevation, Elevation Nation. I hope you're ready for what we've got in store for you today. I'm raring to go, Rob.
I'm raring to go. And you know what, guys? Elevation Nation, you know, you've been screaming like you said, oh, we're very, we're only getting guys on the show. Well, today we have a Mademoiselle Scott. Anyway, so no, she's not really French. But anyway, I just thought I'd put that on because I can't. The only French I know is French Montana the rapper. But you know what I'm saying, guys. We like to have fun on this show. So I'm going to leave it to Leon to really introduce who our special guest is today.
Thank you, Rob. So today's guest, we have Aysha Scott waiting in the wings. How you doing, Aysha?
Hi, I'm good. I'm doing fine today.
Excellent. So what I'm going to do, guys, is just give you a bit of her bio, and then we're going to get stuck into this interview. So here it is. Aysha Scott is a filmmaker, CEO, founder of A. Scott Productions, and a mother of two beautiful children. She has independently made and funded a feature film and short film that have screened throughout London and worldwide at numerous festivals and events. With a short next screening in New York in September, she's currently in development for a next feature film, Absent, that should be making her directorial debut, a film based on a real-life experience of absent parenting and the strife of a single mother. So welcome to the show, Aysha.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Awesome.
You're welcome. Hey, Leon, how are we rolling this? Are we going to be like loose cannons, or are we going to be structured today?
I'll just go with the flow, Rob. I'm ready to take this in whatever direction I feel with my intuition.
Oh, that's good. Then I'm feeling like a wild west guy, because we got kind of like, you know, recently like we've had these artistic people on the show. Or I think by the time this podcast reaches out to the universe, you may have heard of the Dwayne Henry interview. So we've had, you know, we're bringing a bit of Hollywood, a bit of glamour, a bit of film, and there's a reason why, guys. And that is because you should be understanding the importance of storytelling in your business. It's not all about just straight up sales and straight up marketing. You have to kind of give that backstory and story of your business journey that your customers will enjoy and experience, so they want to keep buying from you again and again. And so this is one of the reasons why we have Miss Scott. I'm just going to call her Miss Scott because I hate butchering names. I know that I'm going to butcher somebody's name today.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I don't want to do that. So as tradition, the way that we like to start the show, Aysha, is we like to start with what we call like an elevated success quote or mantra that you know yourself might actually live by or guide your business by. So do you actually have one of those?
I do have a little one. It's something that I made up myself when I was going through a difficult time through uni when I wrote my film and stuff. And it was basically, for any bit of struggle, a smile can bring a sweet taste. And and where it came from was that I'd been in such a dark place for such a long time, and I couldn't see a way out of it. And it was just a moment of smiling and being happy that reminded me that of the fruits of life, and that things can be turned around just through in having a balance of laughter and happiness through your difficult times, because it will come to an end at some point.
Mm-hmm. I like it because, you know, I'm going to let Leon jump in, but one thing I've noticed about you in just the short time that we've got to know each other is that you got that little funny giggly laugh thing that I think you know what I mean. That little giggle thing. So I get it, and it's kind of very endearing, so I understand it. So Leon, what's your take on it? Because I know that you're a big advocate of you know, the whole universe, love, and, you know, being happy. So, you know,
yeah, absolutely. And the story that comes to mind is another client of ours, actually. And, you know, I remember when she recently, because we were helping her with her new funnel and webinar, and she was talking about one of the things that triggered her breakthrough, and it was the smile of her, I think it was an 18-month-old niece. And, you know, so I can definitely relate to what you're saying there, Aysha, in terms of through any bit of struggle, a smile can bring a sweet taste. Because sometimes, you know, whether it's your own smile, whether it's the smile of somebody else, sometimes you just need that moment to stop and reflect and actually say, in the grand scheme of things, like you just said, Aysha, it won't last forever, because actually nothing does last forever. Even our lifetime on this planet is like limited to 80, you know, years approximately, unless something else, you know, steps in and intervenes. But generally, you know, and sometimes we get lost in the world of our own thoughts and our ego and think, you know, whatever we're in is going to last forever. And you rightly said it won't.
Exactly.
I think that's a really great quote to kick us off today. So the next port of call on our journey with you, Aysha, is we'd like to know a bit more about you. We'd like to know where, you know, for you, the kind of filmmaker, the creative genius started to come about. So take us right back to where you either see yourself as that kind of creative, you know, entrepreneur, the spark, the genius. Where did it start with you? And let's give us kind of like 5 to 10 minutes of your story.
Of where it comes from.
Yeah,
Okay,
and then bring us right up to where we are right now.
All right. So a lot of people don't know this about me, but I grew up quite a street girl. So around the age of 13, I was very much on the streets. Now I reflect back to obviously not having a father, and my mum had 7 of us that she was raising on her own. So I was a bit of a rebel when I was young, but I always had ambition. So I was doing a bit of modelling up until probably the age of around 18 to 20. I just never felt, I was never a person that like wanted to like sit in the office and have like a job that was office based and stuff like that. I was always creative, but I also enjoyed studying. So when I left school, went on to do a business admin course, and I'd done pretty well in it, but it was really hands-on, had modern apprenticeship alongside it, so I was able to work and pick up skills that way. And then throughout that time, I was also doing my modelling, as I said, and then I had my daughter at 21. So when I got pregnant, it was like, okay, what am I going to do with my life kind of thing. And at the time, I just had a part-time job in Tesco's. So it was just a little part-time job. And then when I had my daughter, it just changed my whole perspective on life. And I just wanted to, I was thinking, it's not just about me now, it's about another human being. So what can I do? How can I become a role model? What can I offer to my child? So from there, when my daughter was about 2 years old, I set up my own company called Artist Quick Limited. And basically it was a music entertainment company. I got funded from the Prince's Trust and the New Entrepreneur Scholarship Programme of up to like £10,000. Was doing that for about good 4 years. And it involved loads of things. So we had an online magazine called Ethos, and we used to go around and interview up-and-coming artists, establish celebrities. So we still got a few things online there. And we had also 2 showcase events. So open mic, one was held in Shoreditch, one was held in Brixton. So we was really heavily involved in a lot of like the emerging talent coming up at that time. But it was a struggling industry. There wasn't really much of a platform, so it wasn't really making much money. And it got to a place where I thought, you know what, I want to be, because I was obviously on the other side of the camera filming, doing the interviews, the production side, and I wanted to be on the acting side. So it was a difficult period because I'd been running the business for a long time. I'd been nominated for Young Entrepreneur of the Year. Like loads of things, made loads of achievements, had a lot of press coverage from my company, and I actually had a platform for a lot of artists that I'm still in contact with today. So in that sense, obviously the business didn't make as much money and stuff, but we made achievements in other ways. Yeah, so from there, then I went on to thinking, all right, I've been running this business, I've been using a platform for building a platform for other artists and stuff. What do I want to do for myself? So it was that point that I always wanted to do acting, but I never really did it because I was chronically shy at school. So I had no confidence.
Never.
Yeah.
Never. Really?
I was shy. I really used to smoke to speak or anything. So my sisters and cousins, even I was in a gang, we was all loud, I was always the quiet one. I never really used to speak or anything. So it got to that place where I started to think, I'm getting older, what am I going to do for myself? And then I enrolled on a confidence building course. From there, the guy on the course, he was like, oh, you're really good at acting. Have you ever thought about doing it, taking up acting? So I thought, okay, let me have a go at it. And then I went to the Anna Scher Theatre School. So this time I was roughly around about 27. So I went to the Anna Scher Theatre School. During that time, I also joined up to like a load of supporting agency work and was doing loads of stuff, doing a bit of modelling as well. So I've done billboard campaigns, I've done loads of TV commercials, and then I went on to do a web series called Breach Drama. You can still find it online. Oh my God, I would absolutely cringe. But yeah, it's still online. But it was like one of the first web series, because there wasn't really much of a film industry at this time. So it was really difficult to get any type of roles. And a lady called Christina from Belgium, she set up her own production company. And it was inspiring to see, because it was from there. I thought, this lady, she's from Belgium. She's got this big web series that she films. We was filming like at least once, twice a week. She would give us a little supplement of pay, and she was doing this all on her own. So she just taught me that it was not impossible to do, really. So then it moves us into probably around about 2011, and that's when I had my son. So I was still doing the web series, had my son, and then the relationship broke down with me and his father abandoned him throughout that time. So I was in this big web series, I was doing all my acting stuff, like getting really good money, and then I was just left in the lurch with a baby. They wanted me to get back on the series when my son was like 3 months old. So I was like, oh my God. At first I just went with it, but you're doing the night feeds, you're getting up at like 6 o'clock in the morning to be on set. I even had to bring him on set half the time.
Right.
So that's when I had to stop, think about the next step, because now it was like, I've been doing this. It's been easy with one child and been able to get through, but with 2 children, I need something more stable. I need to look at my future for more how it's gonna be able to pull them forward as well, and what I'm doing. So I went back to uni, and that was a big thing, because I've been out of education for over 10 years at that stage. So went back to uni, because I had a job at the time. I was doing housing, and they kind of said to me, look, your job's been taken. You have to come in full time, or we're going to have to let you go. So that was a bum. I was like, I'm not going to work full time and not see my child. So sat there, and at the time, because I was doing housing, I was thinking, do you know what, should I just set up a career that's going to be more not promising, but like it's more like a 9 to 5, so it's something more secure. So I originally set up to do a housing degree. So I went into the course. The first day I signed up, went into the course, and just from that moment, it was the first time I think I started to listen to instincts, and it was like, this course is not for you. And I left the course that day, didn't know what I was going to do, anything. I was like, oh my God. So it took me like 3 weeks to go through the perspective, because I thought, all right, if I'm going to spend 3 years dedicating to something, it's got to be something that I love. And it's got to be something that I will enjoy doing. So then anyway, I was always doing because I forgot to mention that. So when I was doing all my acting and stuff, I was also doing poetry recitals. I used to do poetry recitals at events and parks and all that. So I've always been writing in the background. But it was never something I thought, oh, I'm going to take it as into my career. So then when I started to look for the perspective, everything just drew me to this creative writing course.
Okay.
And then I sent them all the stuff because I didn't have the qualifications to fit the actual course. I just sent them all the freelance stuff that I'd been doing at the time. And the teacher, she was really good, Carlene. She was like, all right, come in, let's have a chat. And she was like, yeah, we'll let you in on the course. So then I got on that course. The first month, I kind of was failing really bad because I was obviously going through a lot of stuff with my son's father, the financial burden of everything, and childcare, just the usual stuff. And he was only 9 months at this time that I decided to go back to uni. So, yeah, then got into the course. And after I was confided in my sister. She was like the first one of us that went to uni, my younger sister. And she was just like, it is going to be a struggle. You've just got to get back into it. You're relearning again. You haven't been in education for a long time. All your grammar, everything. You're starting back again from school because you've just been self-taught, doing everything, picking up habits and all of that. So I thought, right, I'm going to give it another semester and see how it goes. And then the next semester was filmmaking. It was script writing. So it was writing for performance, writing the short film. And the minute I wrote I started the first module and it was writing the short film and I wrote it, and then I got back my grades and it was a first. And this man was like, you have something for script writing.
Right.
And it was just from there, I just fell in love with the whole process of films and writing scripts and everything. And then I ended up leaving uni with a 2-1, and I also won the Course Directors Prize. So all my grades picked up. And yeah, and this was through going through everything with my son's father. And that was when I wrote my film. Awesome. I wrote Absent at uni because I was going through so much at the time, and I came across a few movies and things like that of putting out the subject matter, such as little things like Baby Boy, and then through my module I read Baby Father again. I'd read it years ago, but I read it again, and it was like, all right, this situation's still going on, but how can a negative be turned into a positive? And that's when I sat down and thought, all right, I want to make a film about this situation, but with a positive element and more tapping into the psychological effects of it all, and how can it be a voice for the community to address these issues without it being done in a derogatory way.
Yeah, instead of calling it the Wasteman way, the Wasteman.
Exactly. Do you get what I mean? There's so many ways it could have been done, but I think it's a very sophisticated screenplay. I think it will be an eye-opener. It's really heartfelt. It's not targeting any gender such as Absent, but it's called Absent because basically I based it on my story and I've told it from a woman's perspective, but it does pick up on women's behaviour in the situation as well, because I was really angry at the time. I was mad, so even though he was running, I was cussing, I was doing all sorts. So there was loads of situations that how it affected me, but through writing the film and everything, I learned so much and I was able to heal. And thankfully, me and him, we get on now, and he's an amazing dad to our son. So I feel it is a film that can help people as well. It's something that will be an eye-opener, and I think it will bring the community together and bring families together, because people are going to look at themselves and identify certain behaviours and think, do you know what, that is me. Because it's taking ownership as well in these situations. It's not always one-sided.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you just hit the nail on the head with any situation like that where, you know, it's pressured and there's big things at stake and it's ownership.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely ownership. So moving forward, so when I left uni in 2014, I was fortunate enough to do a theatre production with Friends of a Friend Production. It was a site-specific project with all known scriptwriters. And yes, I got on board as sort of like someone that I had a mentor, Lucy Beacon, and I got to write my own part in the site-specific project. So that played for 2 weeks in Blackfriars. Yeah, and it was really good because it was my first sort of professional project after leaving uni. But then after that, I never really did anything else, and I was sort of looking for jobs. at production companies, the BBC, and I was doing it for months and months and months and just getting rejection letters. And I just thought, look, I'm just going to do my own stuff. So my friend he wrote a script and he was like, look, can you look at this script? And then I jumped on board on that, and me and him co-wrote it with him. And then we just made the film, just guerrilla style, just used our own money and just made the film, and it premiered at the British Urban Film Festival last year.
So
and
then from then, was this a short film then? Or?
No, this was the feature.
Okay.
It's called Residential, yeah. So this was a film that we just did. We just thought, yeah, we're just going to make this film. It was really difficult and really hard. Like, it took probably about 4 months to make. But we got it done. And we had sponsors on board. Everyone was passionate about the project. And the final result that it got screened, it got a lot of media attention and everything. It was screening throughout Jamaica as well. And it highlighted the tragic consequences of street life.
Right.
So it was another hard-hitting subject matter, and it was perceived really well. So after that, I set up Aysha Scott Productions because I really enjoyed the process of making the film, and I thought, you know, this is what I want to do, and set up the company. From there, I was working with a lot of young people at the time, so I thought, why don't I just set up my own company instead of knocking on doors that they're going to be so difficult, like trying to get jobs in big production houses. I might as well take my time and build up my own.
Yeah.
And then I just self-funded. This was me completely on my own, self-funded my short film and just got that off the ground. And that started out just being a little monologue that I wrote for my nephew. He wanted to go into an audition, and it turned out into this big short film of developing it and working it over time. Collaborated with students and up and coming directors, and yeah, that's doing really, really well. It's going to be screening that in New York in August. It's premiered at the BFI. It's done loads of rounds at really good festivals, events. Got a lot of good feedback on there. The Colour Network have put it up on their platform. So yeah, and then we're now still in the development for my feature film Absent, and that's what I'm going to be making my directorial debut. This is something I want to take a bit more serious, so I'm not looking to do it guerrilla style. I want it to be more professional because I do want it to have a nationwide theatrical release. So it is something that I've got to make sure it's done right, because you only get that one opportunity.
Awesome.
So
thanks for sharing that, Aysha. I know one of the key things that the reasons why Rob wanted you on the podcast is one of the big things that we believe in when it comes to marketing in business is the ability to connect with your audience through the copy, the text, the kind of narrative, and ultimately, like what you mentioned today, the script that you put across. Because, you know, if you're going to make anything successful in business, it's because you're able to connect with your audience. And, you know, when they see your ads, they see your content, and as they're entertained and educated at the same time, it's a massive factor in, you know, how successful you're going to be. And I'm sure we'll touch on some of those points, because we'll probably want to pick your brain, so to speak, on some of those points in a moment. But what I want to do is just hand over to Rob, because I'm sure he wants to pick a few things out of your story.
Okay.
There's I mean, that story is like awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I think, especially for women, you know, I mean, it's applicable to anybody, but especially to women. I mean, one of the things I just want to pick up on first, and I'm going to just pick up on a few points, and then we'll move it on, is obviously you kind of said when you were like 13, you were on the streets. Can you just clarify that for the audience, what you mean by being on the streets properly?
Well, when I was 13, I was in a gang called the Ghetto Girls. I was a street girl, so barely went to school, just always on the road, doing gang stuff, fighting other gangs, like quite deep. These days, it wasn't all that knife stuff. It was more fighting, innit? So if you had beef with another crew, it was like having another fight. Got done for robbery at what age? Probably about 14. So had my mum in and out of court, got arrested. So yeah, it's probably like rebel.
You were definitely a rebel with, I'm not sure with the cause, but a rebel. What, you know, obviously, because you said there was like 7 of you. So where do you fit in? Like, Are you the baby? Are you like what? So like, I'm just seeing like, were you the oldest in the family?
No, I'm the middle child.
So you're the middle child. Okay, cool. Because I'm just wondering like if you were just like, I thought you might have been the oldest and then you just kind of like drifted into that, you know, the kind of the gang culture you said. But you know what? Why? Like, I'm getting it because I want to get this part of the story out as well because I think it's important because I know we've got a diverse range of people that listen to the podcast, and some of them definitely will resonate with it. So I was just wondering, what was it that, because you said that you had an absent father, do you think it was that a combination of like, I don't know, maybe the teachers were a bit boring at school, so you didn't see like the traditional educational system as something that was resonating, and then you just kind of got drawn because some of your friends were, you know, doing the kind of street life?
Yeah, it was a mixture of things really, because my mum, I had to take my hat off to her. She did everything for us. Like, we didn't go without the things that you'd wanted as a kid, the latest trainers and things like that. She worked her butt off, and she always worked. She wasn't someone that sat around on benefits, but it's probably because of that she was working a lot.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of time. There wasn't a dad around to implement that.
Yeah.
Discipline, so we could do a lot of stuff. So she had 3 elders and then she had 3 younger kids that had to get her attention at some point, so we could get away with murder. And then being in school, I was always creative. Like, I did drama and art, like I love stuff like that, but I wasn't really, even though I was good at academics, I was just a creative person. That's what I enjoyed. That's what made me want to go into school. But when it came to certain academics, it was very boring.
Cool.
And didn't enjoy it. And then obviously the influences, because it was me, my sister is literally 11 months older than me, and then I've got my 2 cousins, and me and my younger cousins the same age, so we was always referred to as a gang anyway before we was even a gang, because everyone used to say them lot or you lot.
Proper stuff.
Because we walked everywhere together.
I get it. All right, that's cool. I just wanted to clarify that for those that were like, what street life, just in case you didn't know.
Yeah, that was a good point, Rob.
And I think another thing here, this is more to do with the film, like the first feature film. And just remind me the name of it again, please.
Residential.
Yeah, Residential. So you said that was guerrilla. So I just wanted to get, I think me and Leon understand that term of the hustle mode. Just explain the kind of, what you mean by guerrilla, and like the kind of funding process. Like, I don't know how much it is to fund a short movie or a feature film on like guerrilla mode, but like, I'm sure you're going to explain that now. That's what I just want to understand.
Well, basically, guerrilla mode is when you have to get things done. So there's certain scenes where we had to use a fake gun, for example, and normally in the process of a professional production, you'd get the licenses, you'd notify the police and things like that. But when it's guerrilla, you have to shoot. So you've got to find a time.
Not the gun, but the camera.
Yeah, exactly. You got to shoot the camera to get that scene, because this is what you got to do. So it's all adrenaline rush, and you can get in serious trouble for it. So do be careful, filmmakers. But yeah, it's just getting everything done. So it's just putting yourself out there, asking people for stuff, get a lot of rejections. But even certain things, you might be using someone's home and then they go, nah, my mum said you can't use the house today, and you're standing there with all your camera equipment, the crew, the cast. You've got to literally think on your feet. How are we going to get this scene? We can't be scheduled for another day, because that's already cost us money and time. And it's just about getting it done, really. Any way possible. Hook or by crook.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. And I mean, you know, I just want the guys, Elevation Nation, I just want you to pick up on that, because as you know, I mean, myself, Leon and Phil, the way that we started our business is like we wound it down our 3 businesses to join as one. And we all agreed that we were going to bootstrap it, which is basically what Aysha's just said there, is like, you know, it's just hustle mode. Like, you do whatever it takes to get to that level and fund whatever the project, whatever the business, you know, and sometimes that means like you're just taking risk, or you might look in your cupboard and like you think, should I buy that, or should I do shopping? And you do have those moments when you're like in startup mode. For those of you, and even when you're not in startup mode, I know some really successful people right now. Like, if you looked at their lifestyle, it looks $1 million, but sometimes they have to just go into that like starvation mode, like ghetto hustle mode. So
it's priorities. I think it's priorities. It's like some people will get their money and think, okay, let me go out. Because even when I did my short film, I was actually on benefits at the time. And just do it just literally on benefits. And I thought, like, this, how do I see my way out of this? Because this is not the life. But I'd left uni thinking I was just going to walk into a job, but it wasn't. So I think it is priorities of what you want to do with your life and making sacrifices.
Cool. So let's pull some nuggets out of this story then, and who you are, Aysha. So I mean, to be fair, you faced a lot of struggle. So normally we would take, you know, people down the route of biggest wins, biggest failures, in order to get some stories. And I think, to be fair, you've shown a number of struggles and successes, i.e. you've come out the other side. So I think from the respect of where I want to kind of just take you down the road of to help our audience, Elevation Nation, what I'd probably want to focus around is when it comes to creative writing, because obviously this is something you said you fell in love with in the process. Yeah. Could you give us 3 probably pointers or tips in how you can, you know, get the flow on when it comes to creative writing? And the reason why I ask this is because a lot of our listeners will be listening with the intent of how can they spice up their marketing message. And so I just want to know, from a filmmaker's perspective, what are the top 3 things you'd probably impart your knowledge on with our audience?
What do you mean in terms of marketing yourself and your films and stuff like that?
I think more to the point of how do you come up with the kind of writing genius? Where do you start? You know, when somebody says, I've got writer's block, or I don't know where to start.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
And a big idea, concept, like the concept, like, you know, a concept of whatever you're going to be delivering, making. Like, so for example, let's say me and Leon want to do a new, I don't know, some like YouTube video stuff, and we want to come up like with a concept that's going to be different to what everybody else is saying in the market, but still get our message across.
Yeah, I think it's about having a plan for your writing and not trying to rely on moments when you write, because there's, for example, like some people, they might write good when they have a drink or when they have a smoke, but
I hear that.
No, but this is reality.
No, it's true. Yeah.
Because this is what they taught us at uni. But it's like, if you want to write stuff and if you want to get out good content, you got to train yourself. It's like, get up in the morning and you have to write, because I'm better at writing later in the day. But if you've got a assignment that's due, that needs to be due at a certain time, you don't have the time in the evening to be doing it. You have to train your brain to write. So even if it's a sentence a day, even if whatever you can put onto that paper, just put something down. Put something down.
No, that makes sense, because there was just cutting in this. I was going to say, I read something, I think it was last week or the week before, and I don't know the guy that was the scriptwriter. I can't remember his name. I'd have to go and Google it if I was going to remember. But the guy who wrote Dumb and Dumber and Wayne's World, apparently he was like a genius. Like, he wrote both of those scripts in 24 hours, but he used to be doing it at night. He's like, get an idea in the day, then at 12 o'clock at night, boom, just start writing all the way through, but he'd give you a script in 24 hours. So there's something in the way that he was trained. Like, he wouldn't take 3 months to develop a script. It'd be done in 24 hours, just have the concept, and he'd just start writing. So I hear that, and it's something like, I'm a copywriter, so I write direct response copyright. So I hear that because I'm a morning person, so I like to try and I get up at 5.
Get it done in the morning.
And then do it in the morning, and because I got my flow on, and then just take care of business after. And then I might get a big flow later, but it's normally in the morning. Like, I percolate the ideas of the day, then I go and then I go bang with my pen or bang with the computer. So I hear that.
So I was just going to say, so far we've got point 1 plan for writing.
Oh yeah, that's what I was just saying. So point 2 now, I would say, is change your environment.
Yeah.
So if you're always writing in your house and you've got your small office in your house and you're sitting there, nothing's coming out, maybe change it to a small cafe, go to a park. Just change your settings, change your environment, because then you can get inspired by different things. So if you're getting that writer's block all the time by the same place you're sitting in, then obviously that place is not working. It's not inspiring you anymore. So be inspired, do stuff. Take a week out sometimes, go and live a little bit, because for me, writing comes from the soul. So maybe you've written everything that you need to write. So take a month off, go and do some crazy stuff and come back and be like, all right, let me start again. I've got a new perspective.
Yeah.
I've been open to new opportunities. I can look at this from a new angle now.
Yeah, like it.
And
I like to play music. I get in the vibe by music and exercise and then come back and write.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I write as well, with lots of music on. And it has to be I have to be in a really dark place to write. So because I'm a really happy-go-lucky person, I have to make myself really dark.
Okay.
It's really strange. But you have your own methods. And even saying that the second one was changing your environment, the third one would be to change your mindset as well. Because if you've got so much things clogging up your mind, how are you going to write? How are you going to come out with your best creativity? But then saying that, you can even use some of your pitfalls as it's to catapult you forward. Use that pain to write. Use that moment to get it off your chest, put it down on a piece of paper instead of having it in your head. And then you come out with the most amazing things sometimes that way as well.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to ask you, so when you were writing Absent, was that kind of therapeutic for you?
It was very therapeutic. It was very, very, because it took me on this massive journey, because my father was absent and I didn't meet my dad till I was 11. Mm-hmm. So it brought me to, it made that connection of the anger that I had towards my son's father was in fact deeper embedded through my own father's absence.
Your own experience.
My own experience. And I blocked it out for years. I didn't care. It never affected me that I didn't have a dad, but it did. It affected me in so many ways. And one of the biggest one was what I realized was rejection, because when I'd been rejected, in a sense, when my son's father just abandoned us, it was the rejection that was the most painful, and it brought me back to that my dad rejected me. And during this time, I'd met my sister that he'd created, obviously, when he wasn't with when my mum was pregnant with me. He went off to America and got another woman pregnant, so I met her through that time, and it was so emotional. It took me through a journey, but it was beautiful at the same time because I grew through it.
Yeah. Wow, what a story. Not a lot of people grow through those situations, and it can become, something that holds them back. And I'm glad that we've got you on here and you can tell this story, Aysha, because it is a breakthrough story, and it's very interesting. And I like how you've taken us through those 3 tips. Yet, even so, it's kind of like it's leading us somewhere down that path. So, Rob, over to you.
Thank you.
Good. Let's see. I actually, let me go a little, no, I won't go creative yet. We'll go, all right. So what I was going to say, in terms of your vision going forward, because I mean, you're a young lady, what is your goal? Because I think of some of the top kind of script writers, women-wise, I like Shonda Rhimes. Is it Shonda Rhimes, I think? Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
She's, I think my favorite show is, what is it? With her, my favorite show would be Scandal, and I never really used to watch Grey's Anatomy, but I like Scandal, so I like the way she writes. So what is your kind of grand plan vision for the future in terms of what you want to do?
Well, my grand plan vision is to obviously be known for the messages that I'm putting across to the world and the community. So that will be sort of my ultimate vision, is for that my stories, because even though they might have a dark sort of dense message, they've also got a positive outlook. My stuff has always has a positive spin on it, so it has a positive message. So from it can help people. That's the main thing. But then my vision for sort of, say, my company, I want to set up my workshops, which is they're called SAF workshops, screenwriting, acting and filmmaking for 11 to 18-year-olds. And it's to give them a platform for social issues in that sort of age bracket. So, for example, bullying, identity, just things that they might experience in that age, how they can put on the visual platform. So I've been working towards doing those, because obviously the filmmaking, you're not going to make millions of pounds overnight. You have to get to a certain level in the industry before you're gonna reap the benefits of it. So as a business prospect, I want to work on my workshops. I'm also setting up a management company. Want to manage artists, but not just actors, singers, and writers as well is really important, because I think there's no platform for writers. So even you have people that leave uni, they might do a really good dissertation. Where does it go? Like, who gets to see this? So I want to really focus on that as well, doing a platform for writers of all writing forms, whether it's lyrics, poems, essays, just all different forms of writing. So yeah, that's what I'm really focusing on now. At the minute, I'm working towards getting my own equipment as well, so I can put out more content more frequently.
So when you say equipment, what kind of equipment are we talking about here, Aysha?
Camera equipment, so getting a good photographic camera, setting up studio, getting some backdrops, getting a good video camera. I'm looking at like a Blackmagic.
So it's kind of like you taking that creative writing and then saying, look, now I've got the equipment just to take that to the next level as well.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm always writing, so I've already got, after Absent, I've got another feature film called Hair Journey. But it's going to be...
I think me and Rob need to see that one, because I haven't got no hair and Rob's is very short. So what you got for us, Aysha?
So it's a bit like, you remember Chris Rock done that one, Good Hair?
Yeah.
But obviously, I'm always looking at the stories told from a male perspective, and I'm like, all right, it was funny and it was a bit comical, but I've got another spin on it. So it's going to be a comedy as well, but it's basically going to go through the journey of Black women returning back to their natural state. So through all my pitfalls and all the stuff that I was going through at the time I returned back to my natural state, I used to perm my hair and wear long weaves down to my bum, and there's nothing wrong with it, but it was just the magic that I experienced of returning back to who I was and getting to learn and know about my hair was amazing. And I think it's brought me onto this journey that I'm on to today. So that's another story. I've written that as well, so I'm going to work on that after, because no matter what I do in business terms, I'm always going to be creative. And I've been, if you look at me stuff online, you will see that I've been doing stuff for years. And a lot of it I didn't even realize I was doing it. So when I look back and I see stuff over 10 years ago of me putting out poems about gun crime and stuff, and I'm like, this stuff is still not been tackled, but I was talking about this stuff years ago. Domestic violence, all of that I've been doing, putting out stuff off.
It's funny, as they say, it's like when you look back, it's funny how you see how the dots have connected to bring you to this point in time.
Exactly. That is exactly it. It's interesting, this little old life.
It
is. It's really interesting.
That's great. So Rob, I know you said you had a creative question, and I'd like for you to go there if possible.
Oh, did I say I had a creative question?
Yeah.
I must have been reading something in my mind. So all right. So let me think about creative. So this is the thing, like, because you're a writer, and it's quite interesting because you're going across different kind of genres. You're going poetry, you're going film, you'll do music, you do spoken word, which is good. Which is good. So my thing with your creative question is like, how do you? I think the big thing I'm trying to get to is how do you come up with like spins or original or semi-original concepts? Because you just mentioned the hair one there, and it was an opposite to what Chris Rock's saying. So what is going on in your mind? How does it kind of like filter through these ideas, just pop to you? This is because, and I think why it's important is because in our industry, where especially in the marketing side space, we're always looking for like saying the same message but in a different way. So we're looking for like creative angles. So it'd be just interesting from your perspective as somebody that's gone through a very systemized way of going to like writing school and seeing how us as like entrepreneurs can probably use some of the thoughts or formulas that you might go through on a day-to-day basis.
Well, my method, so to speak, because I always used to say it to people at uni, because they used to everyone used to be doing what they thought the tutors wanted, and I used to be like, give them the content that they need. like something different, something that they need to be enlightened to, instead of something that they've asked you to give them, because then it's all going to be generic. So for me as well, I think it's I think I just try to tap into the things that are needs to be said, that but are not being said.
Right.
So the things that everyone's going around. So even a lot of the subject matters that I might address, even when I did Residential, it was a street based on like a ex-yardie gangster. But people might be like, oh, we want to stick away from those stories. But I had the spin on it of the tragic consequences of that lifestyle. So everyone does the big films of the intent and the what's that one? Top Boy and stuff like that. And it's all like, glamorizing the industry. But there's no message in it. So anything that's what my recipe is to, use these stories, but have a message in it. And then evidently that's going to have a different spin on the situation.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point, because I think if you have got a message, it creates a stronger story. And I mean, this is something we're looking at right now, isn't it, Rob? With a new campaign we're putting together, Aysha, and one of the key components of it is that we're actually going to pull together about 20 different stories to form the one campaign. Yeah.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah, and so I think, just like you said, it's really getting a great story and really looking at what is the message of all of it.
Yeah, definitely. It boils down to the message, because everything I like and that things that resonate with me is something that moves me in a way, like that it moves me. So I think having a message and having something that people can resonate with, it's going to live with them forever, and they're going to always reference back to it. Yeah. So my ethos as well is to make shelf life content, not content that's just going to be made and people forget about. It's going to be one of them films that you pick up and you'll be like, oh my God, I need to watch Absent because I need to get a reference from it. Because I've got films like that. Like there's a film called The Shift by Dr. Wayne Dyers, and it's a film that I use as a reference. So when I'm going through certain things, I'm like, all right, I need to put on The Shift because I need to. There's things I might have missed in that film. So yeah, it's just learning about the importance of your content as well.
Good.
Legacy. She's talking legacy there, isn't she?
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. You want to leave a legacy.
Shelf life beyond the shelf life.
Yep.
No, that's good.
Like Tupac, you can watch his stuff, and he was my idol. He was what I listened to a lot growing up and stuff like that. And you can always go back to Tupac interviews, Tupac music, because it never dies. It never gets sold. The
message was on point. I think that's the key.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I've got a question then, Aysha, because like you're a very informed lady, you're very well educated. You know, you practice what you preach. I got a question. What great book, audio or video resource have you learnt from that you'd recommend to our listeners, Elevation Nation, right now?
Okay, well, I did just say it, but I'm more watch films, to be honest. I'm a visual learner, so books, I struggle with reading books. That's sometimes. Cool. It's got to be really sort of easy read books. So, but I watch loads of films, and I think The Shift is an amazing film. It's an absolutely amazing film, the way they've done it and everything. But it will change your life. It's a life-changing film. I won't tell you too much about it, but it's The Shift. So it's about a shift in your purpose to life.
Awesome.
And you said that's with Dr. Wayne Dwyer. Did you say it was?
Dr. Wayne Dyers. Yeah.
Okay.
You can watch it on YouTube. It's really, really long, so you need to be in a space to watch it. And if you're going for a really dark place in your life, I definitely recommend it, because it will just pick you up in so many ways. It's so informative. And what it taught me as well is about, because what I realized as well with people is, how did you get so much following you on your social media and stuff like that? And I think it's allowing people to come to you and being open. Yeah. Instead of chasing things all the time. Just stop for a minute, know your message, know what you're putting out there, and allow people to come to you. And knowing your purpose as well, because we're all here. And this is for single mums. Like, I know it's difficult, I know it's hard. you're there, you're alone, you're raising a child, but never forget that you're a human being. Always reignite your dream. What did you want to do? What did you want to be? And just take pigeon steps and go for it.
Cool.
No, that's great advice. Thank you for sharing that resource.
You know what that is, Lee? I think that's the first time we've ever had a resource that's been a film in us. This is the first in the
yeah, I believe so.
in our podcasting history. So you've created history. You've created
history.
Woo! So
no, it's been brilliant. I've really enjoyed this interview, guys.
Good. I'm glad I told you to enjoy it. But I've got one more question before we wrap up. And this question is, I like to throw this one in, is like, if you could, because I'm imagining you're a good cook, you know, I hope you are anyway.
I'm a very good cook.
Are you a good cook? All right, we'll have to put that to the test one of these days. But imagine you could invite 3 guests, living or deceased. Who would they be and why?
Oh, God. Right, the first one I would say is Tupac.
Okay.
And the reason why, because I just think he was just a sponge to wisdom, even above intelligence, because I think he didn't even understand half of the things that he had in him and he was putting out there. So I would love to sit down and he was 25, like some of the interviews you watch, you think, nah, this boy was like about
Absolutely.
So, just the wisdom that he had. Martin Luther King, I would love to sit down and see what he would think about like his message, and obviously some of it's still going on today, and just to see his reaction really, and what would be his message in this era, this time. And then the other person would have to be my mum, because she's my inspiration, because she's always been there. She's been a strength. She's pulled us through. Like, even though we were quite rebellious and bad when we were young, we're all like have done really well with ourselves. We're even running a business. We've done masters. So it just shows that you can do it, because she's stuck by us, and we're seeing her work so hard all the time. She didn't sit on her butt doing nothing, and she always encouraged us. So it just shows that, it can be done. It shouldn't have to be done, but she's my inspiration as well. So always up for dinner with me, Mum.
And you know what? Your mum could probably help cook as well, I'm sure.
Yeah. Definitely.
Cool. Great question, Rob. So, thank you for the answer there. That was really cool. What I want to say is thanks for taking the time out for this interview with our Elevation Nation. They're along with us. Really appreciate it. If somebody wishes to get in touch with you, what's the best way? Can you share your website or most active social media profiles, please, Aysha?
So if you can add me on Aysha Scott, that's Aysha, and my surname's Scott. And, also my Insta would be A Scott Productions with an S, and then my website, you can get pretty much anywhere from website, or just put me in Google. I'm joking. Put me in Google.
We've had that before, so for us it's like a normal thing, maybe.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Maybe you monopolized Aysha Scott.
No, if you put me in Google, you'll see a load of stuff. You see all the things that I've been doing over time. So put me in Google, and you find all my social media. You find everything that I've been putting up, been doing over the years. So
great stuff.
Don't be afraid as well to connect with me, because I was having this discussion yesterday. People were saying, how come you're always at these different places and you're just everywhere? And I was like, because I connect with people. Like, some people, I remember coming up and hollering at certain people, they don't respond, don't get messaged back. I always respond, as long as you're not trying to hit on me. I'm joking. No, I always respond. So people ask me questions all the time. How did you get into it? Can I get a bit of advice? Because it goes a long way. And it's all part of your brand as well, of inspiring people. So, don't be scared to send me a message for advice.
That's great stuff. Thank you for that. So, Rob, over to you.
Yeah, so again, how quickly does a podcast episode go and flow, Lee? It just rapido, but I've really, really enjoyed it. And I think Elevation Nation, you should take away lots of nuggets. It's a different kind of interview, and we like these. We like to like bring in different angles, different people, because we like to mix it up on our show.
Mm-hmm.
But it's some real great nuggets there. If you go back and listen to this episode, as we always ask you to do, listen a couple of times, because you only need one spark of inspiration to get you to that next level, or to keep you in. Keep you going, because we know that 8 out of 10 businesses will fail, but they only fail because you stop. Like, if you just keep going day by day, just taking a little bit of inspiration, and I'm hoping that this podcast episode will be another step in the right direction for you. You too will keep soaring to higher heights of productivity and profitability. Absolutely. So, through your support, we're just glad that we get on great guests like Aysha. And we'd like you to leave a 5-star review on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. And it's that time where we're going to close out, and we're going to have the final word. And Leon, do you want to do the final word? Because
I can, yeah. I'll just keep it very simple, simple. Yeah. Guys, here it is. I've had a great time with you, Aysha, and I know Rob has as well. And it's very simple. We will close out with this. Guys, keep on smiling and keep on moving forward. Thank you.
Until next time, Elevation Nation, visit www.businessownerelevation.com and keep soaring to new and higher heights of productivity and profitability.